Protests flared up in Paris after the Macron government pushed through an unpopular pension system overhaul without a vote in the lower house. French Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne used a special procedure to push the bill amid boos and shouts of resignation, causing rare chaotic scenes in the French parliament. Demonstrators took to the streets of several other French cities, including Marseille and Paris. Police fired tear gas and water cannon to disperse the angry protesters opposing the reforms. In Nantes, demonstrators hurled objects at police and overturned rubbish bins on the streets as smoke from tear gas rose around them. 2 days after a U.S. drone was downed as a Russian drone intercepted it over the Black Sea, United States has now indicated that Russia is likely trying to recover its debris. Officials, however, added that it is very unlikely that Russia will be able to recover anything useful. According to reports, Russian ships have been seen near the area where the drone had crashed. However, it is not clear if they are still in the area. Poland's president has announced that his country plans to give Ukraine around a dozen MiG-29 fighter jets. This would make Poland first NATO member to fulfill the Ukrainian government's increasingly urgent requests for warplanes. President announced that Poland would hand over 4 of the Soviet-made warplanes within the next few days and that the rest needed servicing and will be supplied later. The total number of warplanes will be between 11 and 19. British authorities have announced that they are banning Chinese-owned video-sharing app TikTok from government mobile phones on security grounds. This follows similar moves by the United States and European Union. Officials described the ban as a precautionary move. The move, however, does not apply to personal phones and devices. There are growing concerns that TikTok's parent company ByteDance would give user data such as browsing history and location to the Chinese government. The company, meanwhile, has insisted that such concerns are based on misinformation and said it was taking steps to boost protection of user data from the United Kingdom and Europe. White House on Thursday, meanwhile, refused to confirm reports that President Joe Biden is threatening a U.S. ban on TikTok unless its Chinese owners sell their stakes in the popular video-sharing app. While refusing to address the potential ban, White House press secretary said that officials are going to be clear when it comes to critical concerns like national security and privacy. The questions on potential ban comes after the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday reported that the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States was threatening a U.S. ban on the app unless its owners, Beijing-based ByteDance, divested. A freight train derailed near Washington on Thursday that spilled around 5,000 gallons of diesel. Emergency crews began responding after the incident. According to officials, there is no indication of impacts on water or wildlife. The cause of the incident is under investigation and no immediate injuries were reported. Four Palestinians were killed, including a teenager, in an Israeli raid in the West Bank city of Jenin on Thursday, according to Palestinian officials. The Israeli military confirmed its forces were operating the city of Jenin on the day and later said the troops killed 2 wanted members of the Islamic Jihad militant group and a third person who was killed, quote-unquote, after attempting to attack the forces with a crowbar. The incident is the latest bloodshed in a year-long wave of violence in the region. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier received Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his official residence on Thursday. The visit comes amid ongoing protests in Israel over the judicial reforms by his government that have triggered mass unrest in recent weeks. The Israeli government's drive to limit Supreme Court powers while increasing its own power in selecting judges has caused alarm at home and abroad about the country's democratic checks and balances. Protesters took to the streets of Tel Aviv on Thursday night as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a compromise deal for his government's planned judicial overhaul. Protesters dubbed the day a day of resistance and blocked roads in Tel Aviv and clashed with the Israeli police. Netanyahu, while departing on a state visit to Germany on Wednesday, said that a proposed compromise outlined by President Isaac Herzog would not restore balance to the branches of government. His government defends the reforms as they say the Supreme Court too often overreaches and intervenes in political matters it has no mandate to rule on. Iran's top security official held high-level talks in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday. This as Tehran seeks greater outreach to Gulf states amid mounting tensions with the West over the country's nuclear work and its drone sales to Russia. The visit comes days after Tehran and Riyadh reached a China-facilitated deal to re-establish relations and reopen embassies within 2 months after years of hostility. After years of animosity on different sides of geopolitical rivalries, the UAE has also started re-engaging with Tehran, which has resulted in upgraded diplomatic ties. British Foreign Secretary is in Georgia for an official visit. He will hold meetings with Georgia's Foreign Minister and also with the Prime Minister, which will discuss bilateral and multilateral cooperation in economic, political and security areas. According to British government's official site, during a visit to the two countries, Moldova and Georgia, Foreign Secretary will announce new funding to boost regional resilience against Russian malign interference, which is an extra $12 million to support economic and governance reforms in Moldova and new funding to strengthen the security of next year's elections in Georgia. Pushing back against U.S. criticism of his record on cracking down on trafficking in the lethal drug, Mexico's president said that greater quantities of synthetic opioid fentanyl directly enter the United States and Canada than Mexico. Fentanyl is a powerful painkiller and has been blamed for fueling a surge in U.S. drug overdoses, and some Republican lawmakers have urged Washington to authorize the use of military force in Mexico to bring the country's drug gangs to heel. However, Mexico's president has said it was not Mexico responsible for introducing most fentanyl into the United States. In Brazil's Rio de Janeiro, a group of alleged criminals blocked a road with barricades and vehicles in flames to avoid being arrested during an operation against drug trafficking. A burned bus was left in a street after it was set on fire. The federal police informed 6 trucks were also set on fire along with barricades to block different roads. Some of the drivers did not even have the chance to take the money and belongings. The Argentine government will indict an electricity provider due to the constant blackouts the country experienced during the summer season, according to officials. The National Electricity Regulatory Authority will bring charges over fraud, embezzlement and abandonment of people against one of the two electricity providers operating in the Buenos Aires metropolitan area. Chilean healthcare workers went on strike on Thursday to demand better working conditions in the capital, Santiago. The members of the National Confederation of Municipal Health Workers marched, chanted and even chained themselves to the entrance of the Health Ministry. Amongst other issues, they demand the government to resolve problems related to the retirement law and the decree of an emergency bonus. The protesters said that due to the lack of response from the Ministry of Health, they hoped to meet with President Gabriel Boric and his advisors to resolve their demands. Ten miners reported missing after an explosion caused by accumulated gas in coal mines in central Colombia have been found dead, which raises the death toll to 21 in the incident. The explosion in several adjoining coal mines took place late on Tuesday in rural area of the country. Activities at the mines have been suspended, according to officials, and an investigation to establish the causes of the explosion will take place before a reopening can be considered. El Salvador's Congress has passed yet another extension suspending some constitutional rights in the Central American country's year-long fight against gangs. The emergency powers temporarily allow arrests without warrants, government access to private communications and detentions without the right to a lawyer. It has been extended every month since last March after a streak of murders blamed on gangs shook the country. Microsoft has announced its latest plans to put artificial intelligence into the hands of more users. The tech giant reviewed a new AI co-pilot for Microsoft 365. Its product suite that includes Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations and Outlook emails. The company said that first open to select business customers for testing, AI will offer a draft in these applications, speeding up content creation and freeing up workers' time. The new announcement reflects a fierce competition to deploy software that could reshape how people work between tech companies. A three-story house collapsed into a river east of Lima as torrential rains caused by the passing of Cyclone Yaku in Peru. Local media reported that the family living in the house evacuated before the collapse. The heavy rains have left at least 6 people dead and over 3,000 people homeless in Peru over the last few days. The powerful cyclone unleashed torrential rains, battering hundreds of homes and causing major disruptions in northern parts of the country. Residents of Porterville, California, have been told to evacuate due to rising floodwaters. Water levels are quickly rising at Lake Success, forcing it to flow down to the Schaffer Dam, creating dangerous conditions along the Two River. The raging waters drove trash and debris down the river's path. Porterville crews are working to clear the waterways to prevent further damage. A break in rainfall on Thursday has allowed residents to assess the damages and prepare for more rainfall, which is forecast for next week. A couple's wedding photo shoot at the end of the world went viral after a video of them being photographed in Chile's Patagonia was shared on social media. The couple decided on the destination because of their passion for hiking. The End of the World theme is a reference to Chile being the southernmost country in the world and Patagonia being the southernmost region in the country. The inaugural Camel Cup race took place in the middle of the arid desert of Al Ula in northwest Saudi Arabia. The prize pool for the event was over a massive $21 million. Camel owners and breeders from different parts of the world gathered to compete in the event, which was held between the 14th and 17th of March. Cultural events and exhibitions showcasing the history and heritage of the region were also being held. Saudi Arabia is relying on tourism as it tries to diversify its economy away from oil. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.